A modern commercial truck is an incredibly sophisticated surveillance state on wheels. An onboard computer records hard braking. Electronic logging devices track every minute a driver spends in the seat. Algorithmic routing software maps the exact path of the freight in real time. Corporate logistics operates on the logic that complete monitoring should guarantee perfect safety and peak efficiency. Yet, in short-haul trucking operations, turnover remains astronomically high, and unresolved safety incidents barely move. The industry standard response is to tighten the grip, writing stricter compliance policies, installing inward-facing cameras, and buying even more tracking software. Applying technical patches to human friction creates a massive knowing-doing gap. Fleets collect terabytes of safety data, but without a cultural shift, that data rarely translates into safer behavior on the road.
To find the actual root cause of highway accidents, we have to look past the truck's dashboard and into the terminal office. Back at the depot sits the dispatcher. This person serves as the central control node, dictating the routes, the schedules, and the daily psychological reality of the driver. The high turnover and crash rates we see are an adaptive challenge. They are rooted in human culture, values, and trust. Because of this, they cannot be solved with just routing math. This invisible communication line connecting the truck to the terminal determines how a driver responds when things go wrong on the highway. A driver's physical safety is governed by the relational psychology occurring back at the dispatch desk. We measure this terminal connection using leader-member exchange, or LMX. In this structural diagram, LMX tracks the quality of trust and mutual obligation. A high-quality exchange is built on mutual trust. A low-quality exchange is purely transactional and rule-bound. Road safety is a direct, measurable byproduct of this specific relationship quality. Imagine a dispatcher squeezed by corporate key performance indicators. They rely purely on positional power, issuing strict one-way orders to keep the trucks moving. The driver on the receiving end feels undervalued and experiences a sharp drop in psychological safety, the belief that they can report problems without being punished. Later that night, a routine incident occurs. The brakes feel slightly spongy, or the driver is hit with heavy fatigue. Because the driver fears a punitive response or assumes the dispatcher won't care, they hide the incident and keep driving. This creates a pattern called normalized deviance. As shown in this branching flowchart, a single unreported hazard multiplies into a systemic risk loop. Unsafe shortcuts become the secret standard for the entire fleet. An unreported hazard compounds over time, eventually resulting in a catastrophic highway crash or a sudden driver resignation. Authoritarian dispatcher tactics do not enforce compliance. They engineer the conditions for physical accidents by silencing the driver's warnings. Let's reset the timeline. This dispatcher utilizes expert and referent power. They treat every driver as an individual, actively listening to route realities and ensuring fair treatment. The driver feels respected as a partner, which establishes a foundation of psychological safety. Now, revisit the exact same spongy brakes or the onset of severe fatigue. The driver immediately uses their safety voice to report the hazard, knowing the dispatcher will prioritize their well-being over a single delivery window. This early warning allows the terminal to neutralize the issue, cementing a proactive safety climate. A dispatcher's empathy and active listening function as a buffer against risk, preventing hazards and turnover before they show up in accident reports. Safety in the logistics industry is a relational outcome. Effective leadership training requires shifting investment away from automated compliance modules and toward the relational skills that build trust, like active listening and recognizing bias in daily assignments. Adaptive leadership frameworks create structured forums where drivers are given a direct voice in route allocation and schedule planning. Historically, the industry has relied on better machines to solve its problems, but the actual operational power lies in the quality of the dispatcher-driver relationship. To solve the physical logistics of the global supply chain, we must first repair the human relationships that manage it.